a dream run for Afghanistan, and definitely a tournament which will they'll never forget, because this is the third victory for them in this ODI World Cup, and this is something which they have never achieved in their cricketing journey. And I'm here to discuss the same with Pratyay. I'm feeling very happy because within my heart, I can just simply feel that cricket is winning, because we all know what this country has been through. And now they're just doing miracles on the field of cricket, and they're just playing it for their country. The country just now, they have had this earthquake where a lot of loss has happened to the country and the countrymen. And now they're doing it for the country, and they're just winning the matches. And by what? Like, they have restricted Sri Lanka in such a short target, and then afterwards they've made it to chase it down. Such a good victory for them. Afghanistan won by 7 wickets. I'm here with Pratyay. Pratyay, what are your thoughts on their victory, and how happy are you to see this?
Well, there's this recent trend going on in which they say, they are looking just like a wow. And I think
Right.
that is the moment that you can actually use for Afghanistan, because they are actually wow indeed. Such a comprehensive performance, such mature cricket. It's very, very heartening to see from a team like them, because they are upcoming, they are making a statement, and it shows that they are not just here to play games for the sake of it, but they are competing. They are competing well enough, and they are giving other teams a run for their money. Because who would have thought at the start of the tournament, Rajsi, if anyone would have asked us, I don't think any one of us would have been able to predict 3-4 victories for Afghanistan. So I think it's an absolutely unforgettable tournament for them. And very correctly said, it's very good for the growth of cricket, for the health of cricket, because Afghanistan, Netherlands, whatever they are doing, it is actually commanding respect. It is actually commanding our attention. So I think it is a very, very pleasing sight. We were discussing in the pre-match. I even said that Sri Lanka will have to watch out, because Afghanistan are chasing, and the manner in which they have chased it, because this is a victory as comprehensive as any. Winning with 28 balls to spare 7 wickets. It's a very convincing margin. So they are not just winning it. They are not just huffing and puffing to victories. They are winning, and and making a statement. So these are two very different things. So extremely satisfied as a cricket fan. I think you can't be happier seeing sites like these. There is plenty, I think, for Sri Lanka to worry. But right now, it's the moment for us to talk about Afghanistan, stand and applaud for what they are doing to their cricket. It's an absolutely unbelievable moment, and a very, very convincing victory indeed.
Right, and if you look at the numbers as well of today's game, like from Afghanistan and Sri Lanka, and so in Sri Lanka as well, no batter has managed to go beyond 50 runs. And Afghanistan ki taraf se we saw Fazal Faruqi taking a 4-for, and then Mujib ne 2 wicket liye, और 1 wicket Azmatullah और Rashid Khan को मिला. And then comes Afghanistan while chasing a target which was not a huge target, it was an average target we can say. और वहाँ पर हम देख रहे performances like Rahmat Shah scoring 62 runs, Hasmatullah Shahidi scoring 58 runs, and Azmatullah Umar Zazai 73 runs. At this point of stage where every team is like literally fighting for their survival, they're also doing the same. Like, there are no such team जो कि एकदम table के नीचे उनको पता है they're not gonna survive in the tournament, so they are just playing the game. No, they are here to win the matches. They are like, seriously, they're all making all their efforts to be in the top 4, because right now they're in the top 5. We cannot imagine this. Like, having them Afghanistan in the top 5, it looks really beautiful, and it looks like okay. Some other team, जैसे हम लोग नीदरलैंड्स के बारे में लास्ट टाइम बात कर रहे थे, just like that अफगानिस्तान ऑब्वियसली उनसे पहले उनका राइज हुआ इन टर्म्स ऑफ क्रिकेट और बड़े टूर्नामेंट्स में आना शुरू किया है, बट डेफिनेटली 2 टीम मुझे तो दिखाई पड़ रही है आगे फ्यूचर में जो टॉप नॉच टीम्स को फाइट करती हुई दिखाई देंगे, और हम उनके मैचेस को देख के कहेंगे व्हाट अ फाइट इट इज. सो प्रत्यय, आई वुड लाइक टू आस्क दिस क्वेश्चन टू यू, लाइक आप उनकी बॉलिंग से ज्यादा खुश हुए या बैटिंग से ज्यादा खुश हुए, और बाय उनकी आई मीन अफगानिस्तान, एज यू नो, तो आप किस चीज से ज्यादा इंप्रेस हुए?
Frankly, Rajsi, it has always been a team which has been known for its bowling. So it's the batting which actually excites me a lot more, because it was always a case of their bowlers doing a good job, and then batters kind of ending up disappointing or not being able to back up the good work of the bowlers. Now you are seeing that pieces of the puzzle are kind of getting connected, and you are seeing that beautiful picture which is coming in front of you. And in tournaments, in big tournaments, it is important for every aspect of your play to come into picture. If you're fielding well, if you're bowling well, if you're batting well, it's only then that you're going to win the matches. Otherwise, you see what Pakistan, what Babar Azam was saying the other day, that when they field well, When they bowl well, the batters disappoint. When they bat well, the bowlers disappoint. So it's very important for every piece to fall into place, and only then would you be able to win matches. And every victory that Afghanistan have managed so far, they have done the right thing. And like I said, what was most pleasing is that it's a team which has a fair bit of experience now, and it has started to show in how they approach their cricket. Because of course, it wasn't a big target, but you can't count out a possibility of a collapse. That is something which Afghanistan have been guilty of doing a lot many times. That they have restricted teams to good and meager totals, but when it comes to batting, they have just collapsed and not been able to win the games. They are no longer doing that. Credit to the manner in which they batted today, because Dilshan Madhushanka struck early. Zamanullah Gurbaz, the in-form batter, Gurbaz was out early, but despite that, they showed great composure. The partnerships were there to see. Hashmatullah Shahidi, Omar Zai, they played well against India and Delhi as well. So, these are all form batters who are putting up their hand against Pakistan as well. They all top four got the runs. That was again a stiff chase, because 280 runs against that Pakistani attack, even if they are not in form, it wasn't a cakewalk. And here as well, to chasing 240 Sri Lankan bowlers, I know that a lot of them are. It's far from Sri Lanka's first choice 11, and a lot of players are not available right now for them. But still, you have to go out and score those runs. And I think full credit to the manner in which they build partnerships, even when wickets fell. They lost wickets, but they never lost them in clusters, and they built partnerships. So they never really looked ruffled. I mean, there was not even one point where you felt that okay, Afghanistan is lagging behind in the game. So they strangled Sri Lanka with the ball, restricting them to 240. And then when it came to time, the time came to deliver with the bat, they were absolutely spot on. Just in the middle phase, there was a bit of a period when they were not getting boundaries, because Sri Lanka were kind of putting a leash on them. But apart from that, even then, they did not lose their rhythm. A lot of times batters get under pressure. Like we saw that happening yesterday with Virat Kohli, or even a Ben Stokes for that matter, because it was the pressure of dot balls which mounted on them, and they went on for playing a shot and they lost their wicket. The Afghanistan batters did not do something like that. So I think great cricket all around, and extremely appreciable stuff. The manner in which they approached the chase looked very calm and very composed, and definitely deserved winners today.
चलिए मैं आपको समरी दिखा देती हूँ मैच की, आज के इस मुकाबले की कैसी रही। अफगानिस्तान वर्सेस श्रीलंका, इट वाज एट MCA पुणे स्टेडियम। सबसे पहले अफगानिस्तान ने टॉस जीतकर बॉलिंग का फैसला लिया, जहां पर श्रीलंका बैटिंग करने के लिए आई। 241 रन ही बना पाए 10 विकेट गवाकर 49.3 ओवर्स में। पदम निसंका ने सबसे ज्यादा 46 रन बनाए, कुशल मेंडिस ने 39 रन बनाए, वही फरूकी ने 4 विकेट लिए और मुजीब को 2 विकेट हाथ लगे। फिर अफगानिस्तान की तरफ से जब वो बल्लेबाजी करने उतरे, मात्र 3 विकेट उन्होंने गवाए, जिसमें हमने देखा उमर जजाई ने 58 रन स्कोर किए और हशमतुल्लाह शहीदी ने 73 रन स्कोर किए, दोनों नॉट आउट गए। मधुशंका ने जहां 2 विकेट लिए, वहीं कसुन रंजीता ने 1 विकेट लिया। आखिर में अफगानिस्तान 7 विकेट से जीत गई। वी ऑलवेज टॉक अबाउट this Afghanistan team, their efforts and their scores and the way they build their innings. Let's talk about the captaincy today as well from Afghanistan's end. The way Hashmatullah Shahidi is leading the team, I think he's one, like today as well, you see 70 plus runs he has scored, and this is something with whenever your captain plays, the team gets the motivation itself. और हम उनको फील्ड पर भी देखते हैं, काफी एक्टिव रहते हैं और प्लेयर्स को कंटिन्यूअसली कुछ ना कुछ बोलते रहे। I'm sure मोटिवेट करते होंगे, उनको प्लान्स बताते होंगे कि what they can do, एटमॉस्फेयर बहुत लाइट रखते होंगे। But I want to know from your opinion, how do you rate Hashmatullah Shahidi's captaincy in the tournament?
Top notch. I think in the victories like these, it is very important for the captain to lead from the front. And I think when as a batter the captain takes the responsibility, he's out there in the middle, he's getting amongst the runs. It leaves a different sort of an impression on the players. And it's often said that a captain is as good as the players of his team. Same is the other way around as well. The players are also as good as just the captain, because it's a team game. So everyone has to put the best foot forward. Like I said, what I liked is that when Gurbaz was out, I felt that maybe, just maybe, we will see the old Afghanistan, that they might just collapse. Because frankly, another wicket or two in that phase of the game, because the ball was really swinging. It was prodigious swing that Madhushanka was actually extracting. So it wasn't easy out there. But in that situation, the kind of application that Zadran showed, later on Rahmat Shah showed, that partnership between them, then Shahidi and Omar Zai, it was clinical. Like I said, you did not allow them to bog under pressure, and that was also credit to the bowlers, because the manner in which Shahidi rotated the bowlers, it's important for you have 10 overs at your disposal for every bowler, but when to use which bowler becomes extremely important. So I think Fazlak Farooqi, he struck with the new ball, then he returned and took those wickets with the towards the latter stage of the innings in the death. 4 for him. Spinners, whenever you talk about Afghanistan, the first thing that comes to your mind is spin because they have quality spinners. Rashid Khan, as good as it gets, he's a world-class spinner. Mujib, Nabi, all of them, they applied the chokehold as well. Mujib got 2, so they also ensured that Sri Lanka never really ran away with the game. They were never able to score runs in partnership. And if you look at the scorecard, if you look at the Sri Lankan batting card, everyone got starts. Most of them got starts, but no one was really able to convert it. So if your highest score is 46, 47 odd, then you know that you are not going to score too many runs. And that looked because it wasn't really a slow surface. By what I understood, it wasn't looking like a slow surface on which runs couldn't have been scored. I think Sri Lanka was extremely conservative as well at the start. 41 for 1 in the first 10 overs, 87 for 2 by the time they reached 20 overs. So they were extremely slow as well. And that was a combination of some poor batting, lack of intent from Sri Lanka, as well as some controlled and disciplined bowling from Afghanistan. So I think Shahidi has led his beautifully, used the bowlers at the right time. He has stepped up as a batter as well. And full marks to him because if the team is winning, I don't think that you can cut too many marks to Afghanistan for whatever they have done. They fielded well as well. So I think overall a very convincing performance and a very comprehensive win for them.
राइट, चलिए मैं आपको टॉप परफॉर्मेंस दिखाती हूँ फर्स्ट इनिंग और सेकंड इनिंग के। तो सबसे पहले हम देखेंगे फर्स्ट इनिंग में जहां से परफॉर्मेंस आई वो श्रीलंका के एंड से प्रथम निशंका थे जो 50 स्कोर नहीं कर सके, 46 पर ही आउट हो गए। वहीं फजल हक फारूकी ने 4 विकेट लिए अपनी टीम की तरफ से, 34 रन उन्होंने लीड किए। वहीं 10 ओवर्स में उन्होंने अपने स्पेल फिनिश किया। और जब बात करें हम सेकंड इनिंग्स की तो वहां पर श्रीलंका की तरफ से इतनी इंप्रेसिव परफॉर्मेंस नहीं आ पाई है। तो उमर जज़ई ने 73 रन बनाए और हशमत उल्ला ने 58 रन बनाया और वो काफी ब्यूटीफुल था दोनों की तरफ से देख करके। Now Pratay, since we were talking about Afghanistan, I think it's time to a little bit move towards Sri Lanka and talk about them. So I think so far अभी हमें तो दिखाई पड़ रहा है from the श्रीलंका का जो पॉइंट टेबल में जो उनकी जगह बनी हुई है, I think it's quite impossible for them to go to be in the top 4. एक तो उनका मतलब वैसा माइंडसेट भी दिखाई नहीं पड़ रहा है, दूसरा टीम की जगह भी वैसी नहीं है। So if you want to suggest something to Sri Lankan team, how exactly do you should be making a comeback, because हम उनको काफी टाइम से देख रहे हैं। Other than last 2018 एशिया कप जो उन्होंने जीता, not 2018, लास्ट एशिया कप जिन्होंने जीता था, वो एशिया कप जीतने के बाद से और उसके पहले भी हमने बहुत ही अप्स एंड डाउन्स देखे हैं श्रीलंकन क्रिकेट जर्नी में। So if you get to suggest something to Sri Lanka to again be the champion in the cricket जैसे वो पहले नोन थे, तो उसके लिए उन्हें क्या करना होगा? क्या ग्रास रूट लेवल से शुरू करना पड़ेगा या फिर समथिंग अभी भी कुछ है जो उनको अभी इस लेवल पर बचा सकता है?
See, I think a lot of things are troubling them, but the biggest of them, I think, is injuries. And it's something you might say that you don't have control over it. But if you start looking at that list, it's extremely long, and it is something which I at least cannot wrap my head around because, Shanika, Chamira, Lahiru Kumara now, Pathirana, Hasaranga, and I'm sure I might be missing a name here and there. All of these players, at the same time picking up an injury that somewhere down the line shows that fitness perhaps is not up to the mark. And strength and conditioning coach, because see, injuries happened with India as well. Jasprit Bumrah was injured, Shreyas Iyer was injured, KL Rahul picked up an injury. But it becomes extremely important. This is the backroom thing and this is the off-stage thing which does not gather a lot of limelight. But you have to give credit to the physios and the doctors at the NCA, the National Cricket Academy, who ensure that the players get fit and also ensure that they remain fit, because after making a comeback right from a long injury, you're always more prone and susceptible to falling to an injury again. That is one area which I think Sri Lanka could actually control and work upon a little better, players' fitness and stuff like that. And in general as well, I think the batting order, it's not that the players aren't good. If you look in the batting order, there's experience as well. We were even talking in the pre-show, the addition of Chamira and Angelo Matthews, that kind of gives them an experience. Sadira Samro-Vikrama is a player who has impressed me hugely in the Asia Cup as well, in the World Cup as well. Have gotten a century already in the tournament. Another 91 not out that he played against Netherlands, was the player of the match in that game. So he is again a very composed head. But what I feel is that the intent, the drive to score those runs is missing. Like I said, even today, it wasn't really that the pitch had any demons. It wasn't a Lucknow kind of a track that we saw yesterday that was doing a lot of things. The ball was turning suddenly, another one was staying low. There was nothing of that sort. Despite that, if you're scoring at 4.5 in an over, in the first 20 overs, even in the field restrictions, they weren't able to utilize that. then you're asking for trouble, because this was easily, if not a 300 pitch, Rachi, I still felt it was definitely a 280 pitch. So you were 40 runs short. I'm not saying that Sri Lanka would have won the game had they scored 280, but if they would have scored those runs, the opposition then approaches the game differently. आप चेज कर रहे हो 240 और 280, तो आपकी अप्रोच चेंज हो जाती है. यू आर perhaps a little bit more under pressure. You don't have that much time, and in the process of going hard, you might commit some mistakes and you lose out on your wickets. So you have to ensure that you take on to these things. Apart from that, I think selection calls as well. I know that it's not easy right now being in the Sri Lankan camp, because आपके पास players है ही नहीं select करने को. So of course it is difficult. But I did not make a lot of sense of including Dimut Karnaratne as your opener, because he's not someone who's out and aggressive batter. He gives the left-handed option, that's all right, but he is not someone who is going to score those quick runs. So maybe I think Kusal Mendis, since he opens in T20s, maybe he could be tried as an opener alongside Nissanka, because right now, see, Dhananjay De Silva, Angelo Matthews. Dhananjay De Silva batting at number 6 or 7, or Angelo Matthews coming in at 7, is not really helping your case. You're not being able to utilize their potential. If you're sending someone like a Hardik Pandya at number 8, what are you being able to extract out of him? Because his ability is to whack the ball. You need to give them time to bat. So that is what the problem is. Their finishers are really coming too down far. Maybe if Kusal Mendis starts opening with Nissanka, that gives them a chance to improve their batting lineup. Everyone comes one up. Then Sadira comes in at 3, DDS comes at 4. Then you have others following him, Matthews and the likes of Asalanka. So I think batting order needs to be rejigged, and maybe a little more intent with the bat could definitely help them.
राइट. तो मेरे पास यहाँ पर एक कमेंट आया है आपके लिए प्रत्यय, जो आपसे एक सवाल पूछ रहे हैं. मिस्टर बिशल मजुमदार पूछना चाहते हैं, अफगानिस्तान प्लेइंग सुपरबली इन दिस वर्ल्ड कप, डू यू थिंक दे हैव चांस टू क्वालिफाई फॉर सेमीफाइनल?
Absolutely. I think, right now, the manner in which they are playing, I definitely want them to qualify, because, what a story it would be. 2019, They did not win a single game. Coming to 2023, they qualify for the semi-finals when none of us could have thought that they will qualify. So that is going to be another thing. But yes, they have their challenges ahead. I think Netherlands, the game against that is going to be a very crucial game for them. They can win it, but I think the biggest hurdle for them, now that they have won today, these are two very, very crucial points for them. But I think the most challenging game is going to be against Australia. Pakistan, I still feel, because Pakistan, we always say, it's the most unpredictable team. On its day, it can do anything, but when they do not click, they can actually fall in the grandest of fashions. So I think Pakistan and Netherlands, those two games for Afghanistan can still be considered. But maybe against Australia, it is going to be a very, very tough fight. But I'm not discounting them. After these 3 performances, I think we will be foolish to discount them. So I think they're definitely in the game. 5th position, they are just one step away from breaking into the top 4, something that none of us could have thought. So yeah, very, very pleased with their cricket. As far as chances are concerned, yes, they are definitely on.
ओके, सो अफगानिस्तान के चांसेस यहाँ पर हमें दिखाई पड़ रहे हैं. बट मैं एक सवाल और पूछना चाहूंगी, यहाँ पर ऐड करना चाहूंगी. हमें अफगानिस्तान डेफिनेटली 5 नंबर पर दिखाई तो दे रही है, बट मुझे लगता है कि जो उनका एनआरआर है, विच इज -0.718, ये मुझे लगता है कि कहीं ऐसा ना हो कि लास्ट में, जैसे अगर लेट्स से इफ दे मैनेज टू विन द मैच एंड गेट द पॉइंट्स एज वेल, एंड जब होता है ना लास्ट में आपका एनआरआर वहां पे डिसाइडर हो जाता है कि वेदर यू आर गोना बी द पार्ट ऑफ द टूर्नामेंट एनी मोर और नो, तो वहां मुझे थोड़ा सा मामला फंस सकता है. अगर वो इससे भी करेक्ट कर सके, थोड़ा सा बेटर कर सके, तो शायद उनको फायदा हो सकता है. लेकिन वही है ना कि हर चीज आपके हाथ में नहीं होती. मैचेस जीतना अभी उनका लक्ष्य है, जो वो कर रहे हैं, बखूबी कर रहे हैं. तो थोड़ा सा एनआरआर अगर और मजबूत हो जाता, तो डेफिनेटली पूरा मौका बन सकता है अफगानिस्तान का, और फिर मजा आ जाएगा. क्योंकि अगर अफगानिस्तान को हमने देख लिया वहां पे सेमीफाइनल्स में लड़ते हुए, आई थिंक वो अब पूरे अफगानिस्तान के लिए, पूरी क्रिकेट के लिए बहुत बड़ी बात होगी. और डेफिनेटली हम सभी की इच्छा है कि ऐसा कुछ हो. Now I'm going to take you to the social tracker segment of our live. तो हम चलेंगे सोशल ट्रैकर के पहले ट्वीट की तरफ, जहां पर हम देखते हैं जो ट्वीट्स हो रहे हैं वायरल. Sri Lankan cricket's greatest supporter, Uncle Percy, passes away. Now this man, Pratyay, we all remember from our childhood as well. We used to see him supporting Sri Lanka from the stands in every match he used to play. आई थिंक मैंने इंडियन फैंस, जैसे अभी हम देखते हैं बहुत सारे सुपर फैंस जिनको हम याद करते हैं और हम उनके चेहरा पहचानते हैं, हमेशा कैमरा में भी वो आते हैं. But I think he was the first person जो मुझे याद है अपनी चाइल्डहुड से. He used to support Sri Lanka, and then obviously Sri Lankan fans भी इनसे मिल चुके हैं और काफी अच्छी उनकी रिलेशनशिप भी शेयर होती है. I would like to know, Pratyay, first of all, how big of a loss it is for the Sri Lankan cricket team as well. दूसरी बात, डू यू रिमेम्बर एनी सच मूवमेंट ऑफ सुपर फैंस जो आपको अभी तक याद हो कि भाई कितना उनको रिस्पेक्ट मिली है या किस तरीके से उनको ट्रीटमेंट मिला है?
Definitely a very sad moment, of course. He was 87, so he lived a long and good life. I am definitely sure. But may he rest in peace. Of course, condolences to his family as well. And yes, a very avid fan, a very avid supporter, because you would see him, turning up and cheering up for Sri Lanka, irrespective of how they perform. A true fan is someone who would stand by their side even in the difficult moments, not just when the team is winning. So he was one of the true ambassadors of the sport and a real fan of the Sri Lankan cricket, and quite famous one as well. I remember Rohit Sharma when visiting to his place and meeting him. So yeah, it's a big loss, definitely. As for fans, Sri Lanka, we know it's a country which loves cricket. It's a cricket crazy country. It's a small country, but it's a country which has produced a lot of legends. Whether you talk about Kumar Sangakkara, Mahela Jayawardene, Lasith Malinga, the list is very long. Chaminda Vas. These are players who have given cricket a lot, and these are names which will be remembered forever. And whenever you talk about the sport, whenever you recall history, these are the names which are going to definitely come up and with the best of the game. So it hurts as well, as a cricket fan, as a Sri Lankan cricket fan. If you are that, you would feel a little disappointed by the fact that it was a side which won the T20 World Cup in 2014. They were the finalists in 2011 against India. Lost that game, but becoming World Cup finalist, it's not a small achievement. But I feel that it is a country which has lost a lot of players in a very short span of time. Because if you see the timing of the retirement, Sangakkara, Jayawardene, Malinga, all of these players, Dilshan, Upul Tharanga, all of these players who made the core of the team, they suddenly disappeared. So you have to also make sure that either you have a lot of depth or a lot of talent, like you have in India. अगर आपके players जाते भी हैं, so seamlessly Shikhar Dhawan would be replaced by Shubman Gill, और आपको याद भी नहीं आएगा कि शिखर धवन कहाँ चले गए, because you have that kind of talent. So either you have that sort of talent in your country, or else you have to make sure that the retirement timing of players is not bad. Because अगर सारे खिलाड़ी एक साथ जाते हैं, this is something we even saw happening with South Africa. Jacques Kallis, Dale Steyn, Vernon Philander, A.B. de Villiers, Faf du Plessis, all of those players suddenly went out. In a span of 2-3 years, the entire core of the team changed. So it becomes challenging. So right now, of course, it would have been a great moment if Sri Lanka could have won this match and could have dedicated to Uncle Percy. But of course, that was not to be. But may his soul rest in peace, and may we see more such fans coming to the stadium and supporting their teams, because that's what you want at the end of the day. Sports brings a lot of smile on everyone's faces, and you want that to happen and continue.
Right now, the baton has been passed to ज्ञान सेनानायक है, जो कि दूसरे श्रीलंकन फैन है, जो कि काफी फेमस है, और हो सकता है कि जैसे वो अभी फिलहाल वर्ल्ड कप में भी अपनी टीम को चेयर कर रहे हैं, वो श्रीलंका के ऐसे फैंस उनका उत्साह बढ़ाते रहें। अगला ट्वीट यहाँ पर हम सभी के सामने, बैक टू बैक 50s फॉर रहमत शाह, कुडोस डेफिनेटली द वे ही इज परफॉर्मिंग एंड द होल टीम, कुडोस टू ईच एंड एवरी इंडिविजुअल ऑफ अफगानिस्तान टीम। फजल फरूकी गिविंग अ 5 for 34 रन्स पर जिस तरीके से उन्होंने आज का अपना स्पेल फिनिश किया है, डेफिनेटली जिस तरीके से यहाँ पर हम ट्वीट दे सकते हैं, फारूकी फिनिशिंग करियर विद बेस्ट बॉलिंग। तो जिस तरीके से वो बाकी सभी का करियर फिनिश करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, दिस इज समथिंग, सम परफॉर्मेंस जो कि हम अफगानिस्तान से एक्सपेक्ट करते नहीं थे, बट या वी ऑल आर वेरी हैप्पी टू हैव दिस। थैंक यू सो मच प्रत्यय फॉर जॉइनिंग मी इन टुडेज सेशन। कल हम फिर से वापस से लौटेंगे, डिस्कस करेंगे मोर एंड मोर अबाउट क्रिकेट। आप देखते रहिए क्रिक ट्रैकर्स इंडिया।